One of the lines for the show that Swipa did on Thursday with Ryan was, "Don't leave it up to game 7." Well, that they left it up to game 7. But that's okay, because I'm here to be Mr. Optimistic and cheer up Ryan. That's what we're going to do on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being with us, being an everydayer, hanging out with us Monday through Friday, being a true sicko for the Denver Nuggets. We do appreciate each and every one of you. You can catch us wherever you get podcasts and leave us 5-star reviews, as well as on youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets, and join the thousands and thousands of your fellow commenters and join the live shows, because we do these shows mostly live and we love getting to interact with your comments, win or lose, about your Denver Nuggets. My name is Matt Moore. I'm a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm joined by a very sad and pissed off Ryan Blackburn from Mile High Sports. This one got under Ryan's skin. We have different reactions to the Clippers win over the Nuggets in game 6. We'll get to those tonight. I will say that that's what's the overriding story of this game and this show is going to be that, like, Ryan's pretty mad, and we're going to deal with that up front. And then we're going to transition because I'm a little bit more chill tonight.
Oh, was it because of the Avs?
It was in part because of the Avs. Go watch Locked On Avalanche, by the way. Go listen and watch the Locked On Avalanche. It'll cheer you up. Okay. The details. They lose by 6. They're down by 15. I think it was like 17 was maybe the biggest lead.
Yeah.
They come back. They get within range. Russ smokes some layups. They don't get the stops. They needed a 3 late, couldn't get it. There was a late 3 that was made by the Clippers that got it home. Harden was great in this game. 28 points on 10 of 20 shooting, 8 dimes for Harden, but he was only a +2. Kawhi was a +14, 27 points on 11 of 22. Shooty hoops, man, makes shooty hoops. 10 boards, 5 assists for Kawhi. Yoke goes, the Yoke stat line is once again good. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Most teams would take that from their star and be like, you can't be serious with any sort of criticism. Yoke's taking a lot of criticism from most Nuggets fans tonight for the way that he played. Murray had 21 points on 9 of 19 shooting, 8 boards, 8 dimes, by the way, for Jamal in this one. He was +2. Yoke was +1. They played DeAndre Jordan for 2 minutes and 58 seconds, and we're -6, and that's your ball game. Like, it's literally, that's it. Like, that's your ball game. And I do not
horrible decision by Adam.
I hate like, stop putting DJ in this position where I have to do this.
Just
Please,
a horrible, I nearly said it. I nearly said the word.
Norman Powell also gave them 24.
Yeah.
I thought he was actually a big difference.
Very good.
15. Second half, Adelman starts Batum, and that was a huge difference maker because of the way that they were able to play. Let's go through your frustrations about this performance and why you're so negative on it. I'll give you my view, and then we can kind of go from there.
Oh, first and foremost is that, like, we have to do this again, guys. Like, are you freaking? What happened last year? What just happened? You allow a game 6 to get away from you, and you've got graphics where a Joker is standing on the sideline during game 6, watching an just absolute tire fire go out where the Nuggets are down 50 against the Wolves in game 6. And then it looks like they're going to win, and they don't ultimately win because they gassed out and because they didn't have the energy. Hey, let's see what happens. Let's see if Denver can change the flow, change the energy in game 6 of this game where, they start the first quarter really well. They're up, playing pretty good. Immediately a horrible decision by David Adelman to play DeAndre Jordan against a small ball 5 unit. Are we serious? Like, Peyton Watson played 1 minute in the first half or whatever it was. Like, this is not hard. And they let go of the rope. They should have been up by more than 5 in the first half. They were down 1, and then they let go of the rope in the third quarter. Just unserious in so many ways, driving into like really, really ugly plays. The defense is not doing any defensive things. And Denver got bailed out a couple times because Christian Brown hit some threes for the first time in this series, and Jokic made a three. But that third quarter was very definitive. Denver had no chance to come back from that, and yet they did. And yet they did. They found a way to kind of dig themselves back out of it in the fourth quarter, and they were very close. And then Russell Westbrook, who had a fantastic game up until that point, smokes a layup that they really, really needed. And Denver just couldn't get back any momentum after that. But really, man, my issue is with Jokic. Like, Murray just gave you 43. He gave you 43 points in game 5 while you had 13 and were struggling to deal with James Harden's defense. In this entire game, he spent the entire time, whenever he got a call, whenever he did not get a call, staring over at the officials and trying to figure out why he wasn't getting calls. And I am just like, this is a closeout game, man. Just go get the bucket. Like, take the open three that you generated, that the offense generated for you as a 48% three-point shooter in the playoffs or whatever you've been. Take the open three. And yet you're pump faking into a mess and turning the ball over and like smoking layups. And yeah, you're probably getting fouled a little bit. I get it. But like, holy cow. Like, just this is what the playoffs are all about. And he did not show in the second half of this game.
Okay. First, I want to acknowledge something because I am too much of I tut too much. Doth protest too much. It's a fan's right to be mad at officiating. It is every fan's right to hate the officials. It is a grand tradition amongst all sports fans across the globe that the officials are trying to screw your team and screw you over, and you don't get a good whistle, and it is specifically your guy. I am acknowledging that Nuggets fans feel that way, that Yoke got a bad whistle and was fouled all night, and that would have been the difference in the game. I am acknowledging that you feel that way. Okay. Not you.
I also feel that he got fouled, but like, I just don't care as much. It's about what you do with it.
I was chuckling listening to Dime Dropper on Locked On Clippers, because he did the thing that I've said is the motto of all Locked On hosts, which is, look, I'm not a blame the officials guy, but it's every single, I have listened to so much Locked On content during these playoffs, and I swear to you, every single show is the same. Look, I'm not a blame the refs guy, but
yeah. And
then, so there's not a lot to really analyze. Like, the whistle is the whistle. And if you had gotten a great whistle, maybe you win this game, but you didn't. And you have to win despite it. Like, you're not always going to get a good whistle. You're not always going to get I know the answer is like, well, we just want a fair one. You're not going to feel like anything's fair unless you get a good one. And that's just like how it's going to be.
Okay, so here's a counter to that. They attempted 9 total free throws tonight and were very like, it's not just like that. They don't take any threes. They took 27 total threes. They didn't overly turn the ball over. Like,
I mean,
12 total turnovers is not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
So I'll say that, but I do want to point this out. 23 points off of those turnovers tonight.
Of course. Oh, yeah. The transition defense, when they allowed it, was absolute horse crap. They deserved the loss. There's no question in my mind.
Okay. So, every postseason, except for 2023, because they romped over everybody, I've had a game where I've called out Joker. Like, I have the Jazz game in 2020. In game 3, I have last year's game 2, and I thought, like, I was like offended by that performance. This, I honestly don't feel was that. I've seen Joker. I don't know if it, like, quit is just, I think about it a lot in the offseason where I'm like, is that fair that I said that? Like, is it fair for me to ever say Joker quits? And like, I do think it's probably not fair. I think there are games that
like,
I think there are
good bet.
He was okay. I think this was more similar to game 2, where the Clippers did the job that they have to do of taking away what is in front of him, and he did not force the issue like game 4, right? And it's on him, and you're like, but it's a closeout game. It's game 6. These things are ebbs and flows, and like, it's a battle of who's. It's like, you know, David Allen after the game said one of the things that he said was there are They didn't win any of the 50-50 balls. That was one of the things that he said to him. And I think it's true.
100%.
But part of that also is, do you know what keeps you from getting, sometimes you just don't go for the 50-50 balls. They've had games like that. This one I thought was the Clippers were first to it. The Clippers just beat them because they were at home. They were desperate. It was an elimination game at the wall. And honestly, when you kind of look at the overall performance here, look, the Nuggets shot 52% from the field and 41% from three. They didn't generate enough free throws. They turned the ball over enough times for the points off turnovers to really kill them. Their transition defense was bad. Defensively, it was a step back. Like, it was a huge step back because they didn't pressure the ball high enough or hard enough in order to prevent those passes. So they're generating the corner threes. And then when they got downhill, that's where I think you can really criticize Jokers. Like, Jokers, again,
it's horrible.
Like, Joker's going to have to do something. I'm not asking him to club the guy and risk the foul because I understand he's got to keep his fouls down. There's got to be like a hand up to try and force a miss on these because sometimes he's just literally watching the guy go by him and score. But when I compare this one, Ryan, to game 2 of that Wolves series last year where Naz Reid punked the entire team at home, it doesn't qualify. This was a tough loss in game 6 in a long series. And I don't think that the effort tonight was so bad as to be like miserable, despicable, terrible. It was just like they didn't play good enough to get it done. Now they're going to get it done in game 7.
Like, look, this isn't one of those performances that like you're going to be talking about for a long time as, oh man, that was a really, really low moment. This wasn't a low moment. That's not what this was. This was a wasted opportunity. This was, I think that Joker, and to a lesser extent Jamal, I think that those guys had an opportunity to close this down, to close this away, and it's just going to be tough, man. Like, this game 7s are brutal. And the fact that Denver's now in this spot, like, I just don't feel good. And nobody and their mother should feel good about this particular game coming up on Saturday because there's just anything can happen. Muted.
I have a couple counters. One, home teams win these game 7s a lot. Like, that is just the reality. Now you can be like, but the Blazers in 2019, but the Wolves in 2024, right? One, first round series actually go significantly higher towards the home team. 2, one of the reasons that I do think it was actually okay. I don't think he should have played DJ. Again, I will for the 7 millionth time for advocate for something that's not going to happen. Dust off Zeke Naji and throw him out there for 4 minutes of professional basketball. It literally cannot be worse than -6 in 2 minutes. It cannot be worse than that. If it is, then I'll eat my words. Try it. But 2, go to the AG at 5. This is a series where they should have been doing this more. And I'm the guy that's been yelling at Ryan all year about how you got to save AG. You save him for this. But the other thing here is the reason that you don't play Joker. I was actually pretty encouraged that they did not start that fourth quarter with Joker. Malone starts that fourth with Joker. He tries to steal this one. He pushes the pedal all the way to the floor and he tries to get this one because it was close enough. But with 2 days of rest with travel, it would have been a mistake. You got to make sure that you cannot push him that hard. And Joker winds up, still playing minutes in this one. He still winds up at 42 minutes, but he doesn't go 44, 45, 47, 48. He does not play like the entire second half. He doesn't play the whole game, right? Every minute that you save in this situation, I do think matters because it's like you're just trying to get like every ounce that you can kind of get back. And for me, I think that was actually not a bad decision. Game 7s are usually coin flippy, which is why it usually goes towards the home team as the home team makes shots. They got good contributions from their role players tonight. Those role players typically don't play as well on the road, and we saw that in game 5. Yeah. The Nuggets role players, I thought Christian is getting going, which I actually think is encouraging. He was a +4 tonight.
He did kind of allow Harden to get going a little bit tonight, though.
Somewhat. It's not like he's ISOing him. It's all pick.
It was like anytime he ISOs Christian is giving up buckets right now. I'm kind of surprised that Harden is not going to that more.
I'll go back and watch the tape. You're probably right. I just need to check it. And Look, Russ can lose that game for him. That would be a very fitting end for the season, is for Russ to lose that game for him.
That would suck.
But I'll just tell you, look, man, with where we have been, with where we were after game 3 a week ago, with where we were after the Wizards game, they fired their GM with a week left in the season.
Yeah,
they are at game 7 with home court versus a very good team that a lot of people were honestly a little too high on, with a very good chance to advance to the second round. I think they've acquitted themselves actually pretty well in this series. This series has not had, and I do think that when you look at this one, again, man, they lost by 6. They were minus 24 in Mike's minutes, which it does impact everyone lost their minds over MPJ's plus 34 in game 5. It's well, this is, I'm the plus minus guy, and even
the other side of the coin.
Yeah, even I could say some of this stuff is a little bit variable. They got a good Kawhi game because they needed it. They got a good Harden game because they needed it. They got to get that again from both dudes. They had to get that. Think about this. They had to get good games from Harden, Kawhi, and Powell. A favorable whistle, points off of turnovers to win by 6 in a must-win.
And Batum was unbelievable in this game. It's the roster envy that I'm going to consistently have, and just again, this is something that we're going to have to approach more in the offseason, but the fact that Denver, I guess, is Russ there, Nico Batum? Is that Denver's version of Nico Batum in this?
No, he's bogey.
Yeah.
They don't have a Batum. Their Batum is Peyton Watson, who was 3 of 5 from the field tonight, made a big 3-pointer, had a big block, had 7 points, was a -5 because he played with the bench unit, and still can't get more than 10 minutes and 42 seconds. And I am asking why. For the love of, this is such a good Peyton series.
Yeah. He should be able to switch on to both Kawhi and Harden and Powell and be in those situations where is Adamon just a guy that isn't going to trust young guys? Is Christian the only guy that he's going to trust because he's already seen him do it? That could be it. That could be that simple.
I think it's more complicated than that, because I think there's just a lot of. I think we've talked about it all year. There's a lot of stuff with Peyton. There's just a lot of stuff.
But also
I get it.
The playoffs.
I know it's game 6. I know
it's time, man.
But here's the thing: is on the flip side of that, let's say that you play him and it's a disaster, right? This is the difference, is that for you and me, and I'll even jump in this boat with you. Okay, for you and me, the risk factor of Russell Westbrook is equal to the risk factor of Peyton Watson, if not a little bit slanted towards Russ.
Yeah.
But for the NBA players and coaches and the general NBA ecosystem, they would not agree with you. And that's not a Nuggets thing. That is true of every team. That they would be no. You can trust Russ more than you can trust Peyton. And we can disagree with that, but that's the structure. I don't think it's about Adam and not trusting young guys. I think it's more about trusting Russ and then wanting the starters to play as much as possible. And look, the numbers are what the numbers are. Watson's a -18.7 in this series.
Yeah, so. I mean, to be clear, he did get saddled with a bunch of Pickett minutes that were really bad. There's a lot of non-Jokic minutes that Watson is out there for. I'd be curious to see what he looks like with Jokic instead. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff both for the present and future that is riding on this moment for Peyton Watson, and I'm curious to see just what that fallout is.
We'll coming up. I will continue to try and drag Ryan from the depth of despair and try and convince him that this is actually okay. We were probably always headed here. We'll do that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with a Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty. Jumped on and played a little Call of Duty tonight before the game. It was very enjoyable. As easily as you stream your favorite shows. You can jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your consoles in every room. As I mentioned, we're heading to Steamboat Springs for our annual trip once the playoffs are over, and I'm definitely going to be bringing my Fire Stick so I can plug in and connect once the kids are in bed while my wife reads whatever very serious book. She's she's reading. She reads very serious books. Head to Amazon.com/FireTV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. I appreciate you guys being with us and being a part of our community. Hey, if you are going to be at Game 7 on Saturday night in Denver, swing on by over the tunnel where the Nuggets come out of when they do their intros and they run out of that tunnel before every game. That's where the media section is. Come on before the game. I have stickers for you. We have No Jinx and Swipe and Gripe stickers for you there. My wife very stupidly said, if you need help mailing these to folks, I'll do it. And I was like, you don't know what you're asking. Yeah, we will try and figure out I don't have that many because I don't think I anticipated how much people would actually ask for them. But if you are interested, hit me up and we'll see if we can figure out a way to get you one if you can't be at the game and you can support the show. So shout out to Eric. Eric gets first serve because Eric was the first person to ask for one at Game 5.
It was super cool. Just super good vibes.
Okay, so here's the deal. One, let's go back to Game 3 and how much you and I just were shoveling the dirt on this team in the season. Okay, did we at that point? And really, given this entire season, we got to be a little bit reasonable, right? You can judge them on I think your thing is you're still judging them on preseason expectations.
Yeah.
And I'm judging them no, man, we ended that a long time ago. Let's judge them off of post trade deadline expectations. And let's go to this. After Game 3, even then, with as good as the Clippers have been with Kawhi Leonard since January 1st, was it reasonable to ask the Denver Nuggets to win 3 in a row, including 2 on the road versus the Los Angeles Clippers?
3 in the row, probably not. That's completely understandable. And look, that is true. These teams were even. These teams are even teams. The Clippers, I think a lot of people argue based off of that January 1st stat and just getting Kawhi back and doing everything that they have done and amassing. Because, hey, Matt, I don't know if you knew this, but Norman Powell was an all-star. And Ivica Zubac, not an all-star, but certainly getting all-NBA consideration. And James Harden all-NBA consideration. And Kawhi Leonard showed up. So, everybody was wow, they've just got so much of a better roster than the Nuggets do. And they probably they do in some ways. They've kind of passed up the Nuggets in some ways in terms of roster.
Well, okay, so I'll come back to you on that one. They've passed them up for now, but Batum's gonna age out. They're relying on a mishmash of guys because they let Paul George walk, right? And the Nuggets did not have an opportunity to do so.
I would love the opportunity for Nico Batum to age out on my roster.
I hear. Look, I said that there was a huge deal that his injury status was going to be a huge deal with this series. Batum's a problem, and Adelman's going to have to get in the lab and be ready for that and figure out what they're going to do against it. There are counters.
He ripped Denver to shreds.
Yeah,
in that second half.
Nico is the perfect role player.
Just amazing.
It's Nick Batum, Al Horford, those type of guys. You get caught up with the young and super energetic dudes. The Lakers are Jared Vanderbilt's our X Factor. No, you Absolutely. Do not want that. You want a grizzled dude that has been up and down and clowned and has been the max guy and then was the role player and has done this for so long that he knows exactly what to do and is unfazed by these environments. That's what you want.
Gary Trent Jr.
Zero of those dudes. Their best version of that is Russell Westbrook, who gets too amped because he still always plays like a maniac.
Although, hey, shout out to Russ for the first half. It was a truly, legitimately awesome first half. And he was somebody that kept Denver in it, despite the fact that there were weaknesses. I was going to say Gary Trent Jr., but you went to Russell Westbrook.
Fernando says the last 2 seasons have me crying for Jeff Green.
Yeah.
I'm vindicated.
Yeah.
I'm vindicated.
Well, honestly, if Flacco Chanchar's, I can't even I would love to be able to pine for Flacco Chanchar. I'd love to be able to pine for a lot of other people.
I will. So one of the problems I think is Flacco and Dario are of a certain type of mold. Like this is like actually a kind of a thing that we'll have to talk about in the offseason is like you can over index. Like, I am the guy that loves the smart basketball players over the flashy ones, right? Give me Nick Batum over Jalen Green 7 days a week.
Sure.
But you can over index on them. And then you wind up, now again, this is where we get back to, but Deron Holmes. Like, this is where it's like, God, so many things went wrong for the Nuggets.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of guys that you can point the list down the line at all the bigs that they had an opportunity, the big forwards that they had an opportunity with. And like, yeah, if it was DJ, Deron Holmes, Dario Saric, Vlatko Čančar, like all of them.
I wonder, Himia says, come on, Ryan. Gary Trent Jr. is probably getting crucified right now, crying emoji. Because Ryan in the media room said, I don't see any way the Bucks blow this game because he's a mean man. He's on the show acting all sad, but inside, Ryan's a mean man. See, now you're laughing. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fun. You get to go to a game. You get to see your favorite team in a game 7 versus Kawhi Leonard.
Saw it last year.
Yeah, I know. And how much of this is that, though, is just like the scarring from last year's game 7?
There's a lot of that there. Like, honestly, I do feel that. And I think a lot of Nuggets fans feel that too, where you have an opportunity like this and you let it pass you by. Usually in these situations, when you get the game 5, you're more than likely to get the game 7, even if you don't get the game 6. So the unfortunate thing for Denver is that this has happened multiple times. Like, this is just, it's happened back in 2019, which I keep bringing up, but nobody else seems to remember. And then it happened last year in 2024. So,
yeah, I mean, look, so this is the 2019, I think, is a little bit of a better indicator. Like last year was such, like it was literally the biggest comeback in game 7. Like it's never happened. Right. Yeah. And it was such a specific thing. And they're a little fresher than they were last year. You know, like I identified like, hey, they're gassed and they need to take their foot off the pedal. Like I was screaming that the entire back half of last year. I think they're okay. Like, are they tired and beat up? Yes. Are the Clippers tired and beat up? Yes. Like everybody but the Thunder in the West is, you know, maybe the Wolves, because the Wolves are ravenous. But, you know, I do think that the problem with the game 7 is that they lost that 2019, and Evan Turner literally disagreed with me with this on Twitter. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. This is like what happened.
Evan Turner don't give a darn what he says.
But this is the thing is like,
yeah.
Evan Turner was the reason. It was Evan Turner who Stotts had not played, and Myers Leonard. He put those two guys in because he was out of options and he threw them out there and they won him game 7. That was why they won. And that's the kind of weird stuff that happens in a game 7 because it's just like you get 2 big threes from Myers Leonard and you win the game. Like they can, you know, tonight honestly was kind of like that because game 6s and game 7s I've come to understand are very similar. Yeah. And like we could talk about Batum and he was great, and we could talk about all these guys and they were great. But also, Derrick Jones Jr. played 17 minutes and hit 2 monster threes and was a +2. And we take out because like that separation, those 2 threes swing this into where it's a 1-possession game.
Yeah, it's true. Like Denver needs that. They're going to need more opportunities if their main guys are not going to take as many shots. Murray took 6 threes tonight. Jokic took 4. Aaron Gordon went 1 of 6. That was tough.
Yeah.
Michael Porter, 1 of 2, 2 of 5 from the field in 24 minutes and a -24. They bottled him up, and Denver clearly did not do a good enough job of getting him involved, and he clearly did not do a good enough job of getting himself involved. So if this is a continuation into game 7, then man, are they gonna bench Michael Porter in that?
This has been like such a roller coaster because like I was like the guy that was like, this is not a Michael Porter Jr. series. And then when he had these games, everybody's like, not a Michael Porter Jr. series. And I'm like, well,
it wasn't until it was, and now it may not be. Like,
it's a game by game thing. And Adelman, you know, I will say that I feel like Adelman was trying to walk a very thin line tonight between not pulling every single lever and giving them and also at the same time giving them a chance to pull off something.
Yeah.
Right. This was not like hey, let's get super inventive and outside the box and go for it. Because you have to, I think if you're in that up 3-2 on the road situation, you have to you need to pull a little bit back. I think that's typically a pretty good idea. Like, I understand that for you, you're like, no, I want them to finish it. I don't want to deal with the game 7. I want to be done with this team. But I think that you have to play the long game here. And like, they were so up against it. The Nuggets were down 1. They had built a lead first half. They came back to where Ty Lue had to change his starting lineup for the second half and bench Chris Dunn, one of their best defenders. That's a massive adjustment. And he got to game 6 without having to make it. And it's a credit to Ty. But now it's like, all right. So now the Nuggets got 2 days to work on solutions for that. They've got those possessions to look at and analyze and be like, all right, what are we going to do when they do this? And that to me is like, there's a lot of things in Denver's corner here going into game 7. It doesn't mean that they'll absolutely win, because I always think game 7s are coin flips, shot variants. But there's a lot of stuff that's still in Denver's corner here for a game 7. They're at home. Denver, historically, it's a hard place to play. You're coming off a game where so many things went right for the Clippers. And the Nuggets were coming off a game where a lot of things went right for them in game 5. It was to be expected that there would be regression and a swing back in this game, in this environment. It's not a disaster.
Yeah, it's not a disaster. Like, this is why you win the game 5 in the first place, to give yourself 2 opportunities to get this done, as opposed to being like on your heels the entire time. And the Clippers, they played James Harden 47 minutes. So like there is a world where the Clippers are the team that now gasses out because they went so hard in game 6 to get it done. And Denver, like you said, maybe pulled back a little bit. I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to that, because they still had 4 guys play 40 plus in a playoff game on the road. And like, that's,
but I also think that a lot of this is like, they didn't engage. Here's part of the thing is like, that wasn't a furious comeback. The Nuggets were just kind of like, no, we're going to keep coming at you. We're going to make you play the whole game. Like, if you're going to screw around, we're going to pull within 6.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to screw around, we're going to pull with it. Like, they kept that pressure on. I think that was the right approach. I think not pulling them, because there's some advantage historically to if you're in the Warrior spot in game 5, which is, you got hit in the mouth. All right, screw it. We'll just get you back at the house. That's fine.
Sure.
Like, that's a good opportunity to pull the plug, but doing it in this game would have been too early, because that's what the Nuggets did last year. That was why I disagreed so much with that game 5 performance, is I was like, man, I don't know if you can do the whole, like, with this team, you can't give the Wolves confidence heading into game 7. I don't know that I feel that way about the Clippers.
Well, they're a different team, and I feel like it's different personalities, and I honestly kind of think you believe in Ant a little bit more.
The good news is that this Clippers team is not as good as that Wolves team.
That's true.
The bad news is that this Nuggets team is not as good as that Nuggets team.
That's true. This is going to be, man, I just like, I'm exhausted by this year. I'm exhausted by this team.
I know.
And there's just a lot that has gone into this where it's a confluence of a whole bunch of things that have now put them into the situation I think a lot of people thought that they would be, where it's a 7-game series heading into like fortunate that they have home court at this point. But I like you said, it's a coin flip, and whoever gets this one has the right to play a very, very, very fresh Oklahoma City team in the next round. And it's also one of the reasons why I really wanted to see them get it done now, because if they had gotten it done on May 1st, that first game would have been on either May 5th or 6th. It is still going to be on May 5th or 6th, regardless.
Oh, they're losing game. Go ahead and mark it like they are losing game 1 in OKC if they win game 7. It's
going to be a 30-point blowout.
Yeah, it's going to be but look, we'll talk about, we got to go. We'll talk about when we get there, but I'll just tell you at this point, here's the good news. When you got nothing to lose, anything's possible. We'll get you set for game 7 on Friday. We'll talk. Me and Swipe will do a show. We might do a 3-man with Ryan as we try and heave Ryan out of the sad swamp. Come by and see us on Saturday if you're at the game for a sticker. Holler at me on Twitter at HP Basketball. Follow Ryan's work at Mile High Sports. We'll see you guys again next time. Thanks for joining us on Locked On Nuggets. You're making me be the pep rally guy through.
Yeah, first time.